cars because there's so many activists who were inside. This is Rachel. Thank you. Another human being who's willing to stand up for what they believe in. Here's another one. There's Jake, thank you. There's Rachel. This is what it looks like to stand up for what you believe in. If you believe in justice, if you believe in equality, if you believe in compassion and peace, then this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like to sacrifice your own freedom for what you believe in. And you don't even have to go, most people don't have to go this far. Just stop eating them, stop eating animals, and then be their voice. This is just one way to be their voice.
Sign some paperwork. They are, according to what I've gotten a sense of.
No? They just sign no lease.
Alexandra, hi. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you, and thank you for all you do. Can you say what it was like? I was in there with you, but can you say what it was like to be in there? Start with the stench, right?
Dirty. Anybody who eats meat, there's a reason why they say chicken is the dirtiest meat. It is filthy in there, and anybody who eats meat, you need to stop now for your own health.
Why did you go? Why did you do this? Why did you come in here and be a stand for them?
I came in with this group of people because I want to spread the word of what's really going on behind the meat that Americans eat. It is dirty, it is cruel, it is unnecessary, it is unhealthy, and people who eat meat need to see behind that neat little clean package what's really going on.
Thank you so much, Alexandra.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And thank you, Jane, for
Oh,
being
thank
here
you for
always.
being here. I confused you with your twin sister.
Did you?
And then
My sister
everybody's
came
like,
out.
no, that's
looks
not
a lot like
Alexandra. But I
Activism runs in our family, and veganism runs in our family.
well, you're very lucky, and you're very
Jane
brave.
Velez-Mitchell.
You're very brave, and
Reporting
I admire
live.
you.
No, Jane,
Yeah.
thank you for everything
You know
that you
what?
do. Because without you and you and you, what we do would not be noticed.
And as Channel 4, probably want to talk to them because they've gotten here even though a little late after the action.
You were here though early. You were
Yeah,
here
but-
on time.
This is the actress Alexandra Paul. Who
Hi,
just
how
got
are you?
arrested.
Nice to meet you.
Shows I can see
Thank
you.
you.
You and I are members of NHJ. I've seen you at conferences
Oh,
before.
wonderful. Well,
How are you?
pleasure. I'm so glad you're here.
NBC. They're more interested.
And she and I are part of the same journalism group.
That's right. He was more excited to see Jane Velez-Mitchell here reporting for social media.
We know each other.
You go way back in the biz.
Oh, look at this. Hugs all around. This is a very emotional moment. Just incredibly brave, powerful.
Just doing their job.
Are you up? Good luck. You look like yourself. Yeah.
I've heard that before. Let me know. I'm ready.
Okay.
Looks like she's about to be interviewed by NBC. Another activist who's been arrested, coming out. There's so many of us here. Hundreds of us. Thank you, Matthew. There's Jonathan, thank you. All these people that we were in the slaughterhouse with, willing to stay in until they were arrested, refusing to leave until all the animals inside were freed. Thank you, John. See, this is the beauty about numbers. Because there's so many people here, hundreds and hundreds of animal rights activists willing to stand up for what they believe in. So now they're just being cited. And if there weren't so many of us here, who knows what would have happened. Because the meat and dairy industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they could potentially charge with terrorism and spin the story with all the money that they have, but not when there's hundreds and hundreds of us out here. There's no way. That's why if you're vegan, you need to be their voice. There's so many things you can do. And if you're not vegan and you're still eating animals, stop eating them. Educate yourself. Learn about it. Watch Earthlings. Watch Cowspiracy. Watch and learn and open your mind and heart. And find out what's really going on behind eating, using, exploiting animals for sports, for entertainment. This is, for everybody here are anti-speciesist. It's speciesism that's happening. It's beautiful. Another beautiful Thank you. Finally, the mainstream media is here. This is what it takes. This is what it takes. We've got some of the mainstream media news stations here now. Going in. This is the NBC, and they're heading into, looks like they're heading into the slaughterhouse to get the story, see?
No one knew that they were in there.
They almost never show up. It takes something like this.
So we just had a training today from Velez-Mitchell about how important it is to get mainstream media coverage, and here we have NBC here, but they won't let him inside. They won't let him inside, even though he is part of the media. He's just there to cover the story.
NBC, and they're trying to find out if they can get inside, where there are still many activists inside the slaughterhouse refusing to leave.
With
Matt Johnson?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. He's got all the footage.
Okay, I see a Dropbox.
So it should be all HD.
So this is Wayne Shung,
What all did you guys?
one of the co-founders of DXC, Direct Action Everywhere, and one of the main organizers of the event, who was also arrested earlier today. And he's letting NBC know that we have plenty of footage. Direct Action Everywhere has plenty of footage for them to help them cover the story.
You guys taking any of the lamb and livestock out?
Yeah. The quail who is sick, actually, one of the officers stayed for one of the quails to be released because he was moved by just how horrifically the animal suffered. He was not able to walk, he's at the bottom of the track.
All these activists, they shut the slaughterhouse down earlier because of what we did. Hundreds of us went inside and took footage of what we saw, and now that's Amy Jean Davis. She's covering live, very likely it's live. Citizen journalism. This is what it looks like for people to say, okay, the multi-billion-dollar meat and dairy industry won't cover it. They're what pay the advertise. There's the advertising. TV. Here we go. Another activist. So what I was saying is that the multi-billion-dollar meat and dairy industry is what sustains television programs, pharmaceutical industry, meat and dairy. So they're not willing, the news stations, they're not willing to come out and cover this because that's where the money is. It does look like they might be taking down. They seem to be. So we've been here for hours. Laura, we wish you were here too. Hey, Britt.
Hey.
You want to say what it's like to be out here and having been inside the slaughterhouse together and everything that's gone on today?
Yeah, it's very emotional, very powerful to be with this group of people who are dedicated to just staying out here for as long as it takes until some kind of justice is served. So the ideal justice being served would be for all of the animals to be released, and that's our overall main intention. But you know, the fact that some were brought out, that were rescued, is wonderful, and we're going to be here to support our fellow activists.
Yes.
And it's just camaraderie, like to be around all of these beautiful hearts that are so dedicated to this cause is impactful too.
Right? And I'm just showing people, you can't even see the depth and breadth. And
Yes.
could you show us your shirt, because this is LA Animal Save, and do you want to say, so Brittany's in from Los Angeles, actually Topanga Canyon, in the house, but you often go bear witness, and we've done it together as well at the slaughterhouse where they slaughter over 6,000 pigs in Los Angeles. You want to say a little bit about what that is, bearing witness with the Save movement?
Yes, so I feel that the power of bearing witness is extremely important for the animal rights movement as a whole.
And what is it? What do you actually do? Usually it's Sunday nights.
Yeah, Sunday nights we go down to Farmer John slaughter facility, and we give water to the pigs who are desperately thirsty.
And dozens of trucks upon trucks come rolling in.
Yeah, they're crammed in trucks. Some of them are too exhausted to come over and drink. They're defeated. They're just crammed in together, and they're in their own feces and urine, and
often very thirsty and very hungry.
Yes.
Lacerations all over their body, prolapses and their anus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scratches and wounds.
Yes.
Sometimes they have tumors. Abscesses. And so we give water, and we also just give them kind words, and
Loving
tell
touch,
them,
if you can.
Yeah, loving touch. We tell them we love them, that we're sorry, and we also, a very important component in bearing witness is to document and record their conditions, photos and video. People go live. Also,
social media.
to just to help people just see these live animals that
It's
are being
hidden in plain sight.
Yes.
The slaughter, and it's moments. It's literally right outside the slaughterhouse, moments before they're brought in and put onto the kill floor.
And they're
murdered.
sometimes taken from they're being trucked from places.
Hello. Folks, if you're arrested, we're just trying to get a count for the media.
If what?
Raise your hand if you're arrested. We're trying to get a count for the media. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He's
9,
counting how
10,
many people
11,
who
12,
have
13,
already been
14,
arrested.
15, 16 so far. I got those two.
Plus yourself
17. 17 so far.
and yourself.
Yeah, I counted myself.
All right, guys. Once again, we're out here in Oakland, California. We're outside a slaughterhouse. we saw goats and I think lambs. We were inside for quite a long time, and chickens and pigeons and quail. And there's nothing special about this particular place. It's where the killing happens in order for people to eat animals. And what people are here saying is, just turn it around, hold on. Hey guys. Okay, so my shirt is ban meat in Berkeley. Yesterday we did, I'm not sure why, okay, anyway, yesterday we did a march in Berkeley. We disrupted, we started at UC and we marched again for animal rights. And there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us. And then at least a couple hundred of us today came out here earlier today, hours ago. We were inside the slaughterhouse. The thing is that these animals want to live as much as you or I. What gives us the right to decide? What gives us the right, just because we're capable of enslaving, kidnapping, and mutilating and confining and then killing and eating them doesn't make it right. Just because it's legal doesn't make it right. If you want to know if something's humane, ask yourself, would you want it done to you? Would you want it done to you? If you have values of alleviating the suffering of another being that wanted to live as much as you, if you have values of compassion, if you believe in humanity and that we have dominion, not domination, over those who are more vulnerable, and it's our job to protect, not to hurt, then you must ask yourself why you are still eating them. Or dairy of any kind. Dairy, if you believe in women's rights, and you still eat dairy, cheese, and milk, and anything that comes from a cow, cow's milk is made for baby calves. We're the only species that steals the milk of another species. It's wrong. In order to get calves milk for your cheese, and you can get all these things in alternative forms. You can get cheese, plant-based cheese. You can get plant-based milks. You can get plant-based coffee cream in your coffee. You can just get plant-based everything, ice cream, you name it. You don't need to be eating animals. Not only do we not need to be eating animals to survive, it's killing us. And if you want to thrive, then stop eating animals for your health. It's killing our health. It's the leading cause of heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. It's killing the planet, and it's killing, most importantly, just stop. The end of the conversation for me is that, do any of us look like we're starving or that we're dying? No, we're all healthy. Look, we look a lot healthier than some of the other people you're seeing. So think about it. And the point is that it's creating suffering. And if you believe in peace, if you believe in justice, if you believe in compassion, and if you believe in equality, all of these values and kindness and empathy, then you have to question why you're still eating them. Dairy is just what's called liquid meat, because dairy is intrinsically tied to the meat industry. The dairy and meat industry, they're multi-billion-dollar industries, and they are the same. Because when a dairy cow, after what the horrific things we do to the female cows for about 4, 5, 6 years, if she lasts that long, she then becomes what they call spent, and she becomes called a butcher cow. And what we do is we bear witness to these cows. Every week we bear witness in various places. I'm in Portland right now. I've borne witness to cows in various cities and states all over. But the point is the same process happens. She's forcefully impregnated repeatedly on what the industry calls rape racks. They are called rape racks. Google anything I say. She's forcefully and repeatedly impregnated, and then when she has to hold the baby, the calf, for 9 months, just like a human mother would, and then she's taken away. There's no humane way to do that. The only way to get your dairy, cheese, and milk, and ice cream, and all those other things is to do that. These animals are not like roaming around in the pasture making sweet love, and we are impregnating them. So right there, if you're a feminist, think about that. So after she's repeatedly impregnated, gives birth, the calf is taken away so that we can have that calf's milk. Calf's milk is meant for a 65-pound baby calf to become a 1,000-pound heifer in the shortest amount of time. That's the only thing it's made for. And if you go to the malls and you'll, look at Look at all the heifers. That's all I'm saying, is that we need to think about it. Why are we drinking these animals, taking their milk? So then the calf is then sent to slaughter, and it's horrific. We see them with horrific infections. I think it's called mastitis. It's just horrific. So stop eating them. Stop drinking their secretions and eating their secretions. There's no need. Everybody here has made the decision at some point in their lives to stop eating animals in any form. It's not about being perfect. It's so easy to do. It's not difficult. It's just different. And I was a meat and dairy eater for all my life until I was 55. And once I learned the truth, I was willing to educate myself when I became aware of what we're doing. And once I learned the truth, I couldn't live with myself and ever ingest any part of an animal again. And then I became aware of what speciesism is. And speciesism is the arrogance of humans to believe that we have the right. We have the legal right, but just because it's legal doesn't make it right. What gives us the moral right to eat their dead flesh or use them in any form whatsoever, to keep them in any kind of confinement against their will? It's wrong. Zoos, circuses, all of it, it's wrong. So thank you, Tiffany. If anything of what I'm saying, it's driving me crazy that there's I think it's because my battery has just been shot for, we've been at this. And by the way, I have incredible footage of what it was like to be inside there. Yeah, there's no good position. I have incredible footage of when we were in there on my page. Go to Dani Rukin and share it, because I documented inside the kill floor. I showed the body parts of the chickens, in garbage cans mixed with like coffee cups. They're treated like objects, like property. Animals are not property. They're living, breathing beings. Here we go, check it out. Yay, John! Thank you, John! Thank you, beautiful human, for standing up for what's right. Thank you. Thank you, John. This is what it looks like to stand up for what you believe in. This is what it looks like to live in accordance to your values. Again, this is just one form. This is just one form. You don't have to go to this length. But what you do have to do, and there's Diana. Thank you, Diana. You don't have to go to this length. They've chosen to. And thank God. But what you do, we all have a moral. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Julianne. So at this point, activists are getting cited. I think it's for trespassing, because there's so many of us. There's hundreds of us who are inside. If it were just a few, terrorism charges could easily have been made. It's crazy. Thank you, Andrew. We love you. Thank you for standing up for what's right.
Andrew's the last.
He is the last? Thank you so much, Julianne. Okay, Andrew is the last activist who is willing to stay inside until unless the animals were released or until they were arrested. And what we saw inside was horrific. Again, it's industry standard. There's nothing different about this place. We don't blame this place. It's not any one place. It's the whole idea that we think it's okay, that it's our right to confine, torture, deprive, and kill them for food. We do not need to be eating them. Thank you, John. Look at that. All right, everybody. Over and out. We're going to be supplying information for people. Again, go to my page and watch all the other footage of when we were inside, and you will see why we are out here. I wanted to say thank you so much. This is your first time out here, and you said that you were just sick and tired of just being a vegan and not saying anything. Could you say something about that? Because I have a real passion about that.
I don't know. I guess guess I've been a vegetarian for a long time, and
Yeah.
then it took me a while. Like I had the excuses of, like, oh, but I'm just addicted to cheese. Like
Addicted to cheese, sure.
Yeah,
I
I
was
kept
too.
going back and doing that, and then I kept on forcing myself to like watch more of the abuse and stuff because I tried to stay away from it before, so I could, I guess, just not think about it.
Right.
And then finally I became vegan.
Just because we're not thinking about it doesn't mean it's not. Just because we're not willing to watch it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Exactly.
And then what happened?
And then finally I just had enough of that, and I finally became vegan. And then I'm
You
like,
got
okay,
sick
well,
of yourself. You got
yes,
sick of your own denial and lies.
Because every time I would eat, I would feel guilty. Like it
Like
would be like it
cheese.
tasted good for a minute, and then I would these images would come to my mind, and I just would feel bad,
What kinds of things did you make yourself watch that you kept avoiding? Like Earthlings, like Farm to Table, like
like documentaries, and even just like PETA videos and things that
PETA
show
videos?
like inside of slaughterhouses and stuff. Because I've never been there myself, but and that's one of the reasons why I came here today is because I needed to see that for myself too. And I know that this will never go out of my mind.
Right.
Right.
Wow, thank you so. And are you from the Bay Area here?
I live in LA.
Oh, Los Angeles. Thank you so much. This was your first time ever doing anything like this.
Yes.
And are you glad you did?
Yes, hell yes.
What would you say to people who are still eating animals, who maybe just and cheese and dairy and all those things? Anything? Well, I think you pretty much said it.
I feel like on top of like people saying that it's meat tastes good or whatever tastes good, it's like even as a selfish thing, there are so many alternatives now that are just as good as
there's no excuse anymore.
There's good cheese, good meat substitutes, all of that stuff that's just as good and like that could fool people easily. So,
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So that was the last of the activists. NBC is here. It took having hundreds of us for the mainstream media to come out.
All right.
I think they're going to roll.
You
This is
mentioned
Priya.
that there was a quail, and then there was a rabbit and a lamb. Where were they taken?
They're currently being taken to the vet. These animals are in dire medical need of medical attention. So the sheep, they have feces all over them. They were actually defecating on themselves while we approached them because they've never known anything good to come from human hands. And so right now they're basically on their way to getting medical attention.
What some people who are watching this are saying this is food. This is how people have eaten through the entire existence of humanity. What's your answer?
Well, our answer is that they're not food and that they're living beings. And one of the reasons that we are here today is because we want everyone, including the public officials of the city of Oakland, of the city of Berkeley, and Alameda County to recognize these animals as the living beings that they are. So what we're asking for is a Bill of Rights for animals to be recognized as sentient beings. When we walk inside of this place, we can see that these animals feel pain, just like us. They cry. These birds, when they're being taken to slaughter, you can hear their screams crowding the slaughterhouse. So we know that these animals are not things, that they feel pain, and I think that the workers inside would acknowledge that as well.
But it is food. People do eat, and they do consider it food. This is how people have eaten since the beginning of time. People eat animals as food, right? I'm not telling you something you don't know already. It's food.
So, while people will say that animals are food, our answer is that, science has proven that these animals feel pain, that they're not food, and that in fact they should have the same right to live as all of us. So, when you hear animals crying, when you see that they're being taken to trash cans with holding their legs and they're screaming all while this is happening, we know that these animals are not food, just like we know that dogs who are killed inside of slaughterhouses in China are not food. And those dogs that we live with at home are no different than these animals that are inside.
There's actually California penal codes that describe livestock as property, and there's video of you and of other people actually physically taking property out of a business. Are you concerned at all about these charges?
Well, that's a great question. And what we're doing inside is a form of nonviolent direct action called open rescue. So,
But you've actually physically taken property from a business. Are you concerned about physically having evidence of you walking into a business, picking up property, and then walking out?
no, we're not concerned. In fact, the dozens of activists, there was 22 activists who were arrested today. They're okay with being arrested, and their basis for doing that is that these animals deserve to be free, and if they're not free, then we don't want to be either. And that is why we're here today. And even though we were arrested, we did take these animals, we strongly believe that we did not commit a crime, that the real crime is happening when animals are being hurt, because this place, just like every other slaughterhouse, is violating the standards, because anytime animals are being killed, it is going to be unsafe, it is going to be unsanitary, there is going to be filth, and ultimately the animals are going to be hurt, which does not make any sense if these places are claiming that in fact it's okay to do this. But we saw inside that the California animal cruelty law was being violated.
Has this place been cited by any California inspectors for any violations of the law?
I actually don't know that. Maybe I can.
I'm curious. This organization has also done similar acts at businesses in Chinatown. Are you concerned at all that this organization might be perceived as targeting communities of color? This is a Yemeni-owned business. That's a Chinese-owned business. Does that concern you at all that you guys are potentially targeting communities of color?
Well, today we were led into this action by activists from communities of color, such as myself. I'm an immigrant from India, and the people who co-led this action with me are from Arab and Muslim communities themselves, some of who speak the same language as the workers inside of here. So, we're not here to target these workers. We're here to target a system which is pinned against animals, and whether it's this place or a slaughterhouse in any part of this country, the cruelty that's happening inside, the suffering and violence is the same.
Are you worried about being accused of taking food from people?
No, because these animals are not food.
Along the lines of what he was asking, there's a sort of cultural aspect of what we're watching is a group of folks who come from another country. We live in an era where people from other countries are under siege already, and then this is part of the culture, isn't it? The way the food is prepared. It's prepared a certain way along cultural and religious lines. So are you attacking their way of life when it is a culture that is already under siege?
Absolutely not, because the activists who led this action are from these communities, are from the same places that the workers are from. And we strongly believe that our culture promotes compassion, not violence towards animals. So we simply want the workers to know that we're not here to be against them. We're just here to help animals, and that is what our culture has taught us.
Have you got any response from the owner of the business?
I did not. I was not able to talk to the owner of the business.
This is their livelihood. Are you worried about
taking their livelihood?
Yeah.
We're concerned about the animals. Obviously, we're not here to target the workers, but what happens inside of these places? No one benefits when violence against animals is happening. There's blood on the floor. There's bloodshed. There's heavy. There's weapons such as knives. So this is a place which is not good for the workers, the animals, and this is not a place which is pleasant to be working inside of.
So just to recap, you're not concerned about livelihood. You're not concerned about cultural implications.
We're absolutely, I'm from the same culture as some of the people who buy our customers here, some of the people who, even operate this place, and the people who were leading this action with me are themselves from Muslim backgrounds, and they strongly believe that their religion, that their community, that their culture doesn't promote violence against animals.
And the Muslim community does actually, yes, lamb in particular is a very sacred animal in the culture. And the way it's prepared and the way it's cared for and the way it's handled, there's very strict rules about the way to do that. You know that as well.
Well, what's happening to lambs inside of this place is no different than what happens to cows, pigs, chickens inside of every slaughterhouse in the United States. In fact, what's happening here is in some ways better than what's happening inside of every other slaughterhouse in the United States. So, for me to say that there's more cruelty happening here is absolutely false. Every place which is violent towards animals is doing something wrong.
Anything that I haven't asked that you want to mention?
Well, I did want to mention that 22 activists were arrested today, and we were here inside to ask that the animals be relinquished to us, and we want to take them to the vet to give them the safety that they deserve, and we were not leaving until that happened. So 22 activists were held inside of this place and ultimately arrested and cited.
Were you cited as well?
I was not.
Okay. But you actually carried the lamb out.
I did carry the lamb out.
Where is that lamb?
She's on her way to the vet.
What did the workers say when you started taking the action?
I did not have any conversations with the workers.
You just walked in and took the lamb and no one said anything?
No, not to me. I know other people might have had conversations with the workers. I know one of my co-organizer, Miriam, who's from a Muslim family background herself, was talking to the workers. And
is she here?
She is.
Yeah. Can we ask her?
Miriam.
This is Miriam.
Hi, Miriam. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi,
How are
my
you?
name is Sergio. I'm a reporter over at NBC.
Nice to meet you.
Joe.
Hi,
over
Joe.
at CBS.
Nice to meet you.
Miriam, tell us your name and how to spell it.
My name is Maryam, M-A-R-Y-A-M, and I'm an activist with Direct Action Everywhere.
Miriam, what's your last name?
Kamali, K-A-M-A-L-I.
And what city do you live in?
Belmont, California.
So what we were asking was, this is a Yemeni-owned business, and there's some concerns about targeting communities of color in some of these demonstrations.
Right.
Did you have a conversation with the owners and
Yes.
about the cultural implications about physically taking property from them?
They suggested that we buy the animals, and that's how we can take them out. And so I reminded them that these chickens, bunnies, and sheep, they're not property. They're not objects like chairs and tables that we can buy. They're individuals and they're sentient beings, and that they have the right to live out their lives happy, safe, and free, just like humans, just like cats and dogs in our homes.
So, according to California law, they are property. Are you concerned at all about there actually being video of colleagues picking up animals and taking them out of a store, much like going into Macy's and declaring this stuff is not property?
I think when it comes to sentient beings, we need to update the laws to reflect that it's time to confront the issue of speciesism, and that recognizing other animals as individuals that they are.
Did you say speciesism?
Yes, speciesism.
What did the workers say to you as people were taking animals out?
He said, this is not the right thing to do, and I said, when you see someone hurt and in stress, it is our moral duty to step in and to help that individual, regardless of the species.
And by individual, you mean what?
Could be cat, could be a dog, could be a human, could be a bird. Regardless, they are sentient beings, and though we come from different species, we're all the same in feeling pain, fear, terror, and we also value our lives the same way.
Pardon the direct question. Are you Muslim by chance?
I was Muslim born, yes.
Okay. Are you worried at all about the implications of potentially targeting a Muslim business?
No, I am an Iranian American, and regardless of our backgrounds and our cultures, we need to confront injustice. And so it doesn't matter where we come from, who we are. When something is wrong, we have to make it right. And yeah, thank you.
This is the wrong thing. They didn't say, "Hey, you're stealing our stuff" or anything like that.
He did not say that. He did not say you're stealing. He said you're taking our animals.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
Priya, that was Miriam. I just want to say something really quick before we check out. So, did you notice how the news anchormen were so focused on tradition, culture? Sorry, hey Lewis, hey buddy. Woo! Tradition, culture, they were so concerned about property, tradition, and culture, and not understanding that tradition is no excuse for animal abuse. Every culture that I talk to, it's like, oh, but we're Puerto Rican, or oh, but we're Italian, or oh, we're Jewish. I'm Jewish. You know, we used to eat pig's intestines. That's a cultural tradition. We loved it. Kishka, we loved it. But that's no excuse for me to continue now that I know better. And they were talking these newscasters as if they were food. And yes, we treat them as food because we commodify them. But the fact is that we are. I would be food too. If you cut off a hunk of my flesh and smoked it and tenderized it and seasoned it and cooked it and roasted it, I would taste good too. So taste is no excuse for animal abuse. We do not need to be eating animals in order to survive. Let's go in here. I think this is the slaughterhouse worker. Or owners, possibly the owners.
We're going to end this video, so if you want to keep up to date and see what's going on, go to direct action everywhere.
And I don't think this is the right way. Let's see, really some people posted on Facebook, our cousins, and they said your cousins, some people attacking them. We have here a big community, and I can show you on Facebook. They said, hey, okay, let's go there. If there's no peace, they're fighting our cousin, you can fight back.
Do you feel attacked?
Yeah, on Facebook they said they attacked, they go to inside. You know, when anyone inspection come from the city, they give a permission. Hey, we're coming this last day to check. Right. When they come, they stay outside until we give them the permission. But the way they did, they came. If you want to do the animal, don't attack this one. Attack the restaurant. Attack the big markets.
But there are dead animals inside.
They have dead animals also.
This is all the places that we do. They all say the same thing. Go attack somebody else.
There is a religion. They talk about.
We're equal opportunity activists. We go to all the places.
They have a soul. They have everything. So if you stop vegetarian and stop the non-vegetarian to eat, what should we gonna eat?
So in other words, that justifies the mistreatment of animals?
What, in your opinion, what happened today? Tell us, describe what happened there.
I don't know. I just came. My cousin called us. He said they came there to take the sheep out. They want to free the animals, like we are not like we are not in America, like we are in somewhere else. This is they don't respect any police. They don't respect any business owner. They don't. We feed the family from this business. This is the one thing.
Feed families.
Yeah.
So that justifies it?
So many families. And I don't know, maybe you guys don't have any.
The same argument was used to justify slavery. It created work.
Slavery for animals?
Slavery
for animals? Okay, what you eat? What you eat, mom?
I eat vegetables, fruits, nuts, and grains.
Okay,
perfectly healthy.
I believe vegetable is a life thing. Why you can't?
So wait, if everything's the same, then you can kill babies?
Same thing. We believe trees have a soul.
It doesn't have a central
Why you cut it?
They don't have a central nervous system.
Come on.
Sir, did you? Someone had mentioned about when people come in to inspect. Do you have any idea about?
So I just want to say this is so.
Has there been a violation?
So this is what they do. The same excuses all the time. All of a sudden, either they become plants' rights activists, and
or nutritionists,
and nutritionists. God, the thing is terrible. Okay.
About the law. Go to the law places. Go to the county. Go to the city. We can do nothing.
If an animal's dead in the cage, you're saying that's perfect.
Here, they give us the license. They give us the.
See, what needs to happen is we're not attacking. So if you're in an industry that is responsible for cruelty and suffering and violence and enslavement and confinement and murder, then what we need to do as people is to support other industries and help these industries grow other things. So I know about
pig farmers who become, they become agricultural, they grow plants. You can do that. Hold on, let me just see what he's saying.
Okay, this is a business. Next time they go to other business, hey, why you sell ice cream? In my religion, ice cream is no good. And attack and take the ice cream. What is this? No respect for us, no respect for our business. We don't know this is hurt some people. You just know now, okay, go to, I told you, the law places that.
Great point, Ray. In order to feed animals, we need to grow so much more plants to feed the animals. So that argument is actually false. Doesn't work.
Are any animals hurt inside?
Huh?
Are any animals hurt
They
inside?
killed inside. They
Yes,
killed.
that-
Not only
exactly.
they killed.
Exactly.
As I told you, you hear my feeling when you cut the trees. Same thing.
No, if
Same
there's
thing.
moral equivalency, then
Hey,
you could also eat
listen,
humans.
Listen, here.
Then their cannibalism would be okay.
We hurt his feelings when we kill
You're
a
not
tree.
gonna find any answer. You go there, find the answer. And believe me, I told you, this is bad things to do this thing. Because I told you, now they posted in Facebook. Some people want to come because they said you come here to fight. Okay.
This is a non-violent
imagine
society.
100 people.
There's no violence in this side.
Like 100.
There's no killing on this side.
100 of people, if they came and they are hot, you are hot too. What's going
Do
to
you know
happen
how
here?
many trees are killed to deforestation in order to support animal agriculture? You have to deforest so many more trees and grow more plants in order to feed the animals. So those arguments don't hold water.
Oh, so this is question not for me.
So, the fact is, you are out of lamb and a rabbit and a quail. Is that right? So,
Are you guys planning on pressing charges for theft of property or anything?
No, I don't have any idea. I told you I'm just a cousin.
We'd love to. We'd love to talk with him if at all possible.
Yeah, what I love is these NBC newscasters. Yeah, these NBC newscasters, they're so sympathetic. It's just so unbelievable how, tradition, all the excuses, tradition,
So, the gentleman
convenience,
inside,
money.
we're going to have a vegan meal together, it sounds like.
Nice.
They have my contact info. They committed to contacting me. And, there's a disagreement about factually what's happening here. They think that it's not animal cruelty. And I said, no. I mean, California Penal Code, Section 597 is quite clear. Causing unnecessary suffering in an animal is a violation of California law. And I said, we're not trying to target any of you. Sorry.
How does the law define unnecessary pain?
Well, a lot of this has not been defined, and this is a case of first impression.
As per statute, how is it defined?
But depriving animals of food and water is by statute a violation of California Penal Code 597. And many times they've been
Is there any paper trail that indicates that this owner was depriving animals of water?
There are photographs and video that we have taken ourselves. We've seen it with our own eyes, and we've seen animals collapse on the ground in cages eating each other. Birds. Have you ever seen a bird eating another bird, sir?
But have there been any formal complaints? Has there been any kind of a violation that has been found that this particular business has committed?
There are no inspections to have such violations on the record. So under the Federal Humane Slaughter Act, birds and rabbits are not even considered animals that are worthy of protection. But under California Penal Code Section 597, anytime you cause unnecessary suffering to an animal, anytime you deprive an animal of food and water, that is a crime. And we think we have the right to intervene if the city is not going to intervene to stop animal cruelty.
Did you guys file any kind of a civil suit to be able to actually ask for any kind of a police order or anything like that?
We filed complaints with Oakland Animal Services. When there's an animal cruelty complaint in the city of Oakland, it does not go to the police. And I talked to these wonderful officers here today about how I think that's a problem. If somebody's beating a dog to death on the street, it might take a week for an inspection to happen, right? People want action now.
You would call animal control at that point, right?
Yeah, and animal control oftentimes doesn't have the resources. They don't have.
We just heard the gentleman here say that.
So we should have Priya speak on our behalf.
They feel targeted.
We've already talked to her. There's a gentleman who just said he didn't expect to see this sort of thing happen in America. That there are laws, that there are processes, and for a lot of people to show up like that disturbed him.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
Sure.
How do you answer that? I mean,
That's a great question. But coming from another country myself, and there are many folks from Asia, from the Middle East in our community, we know that in all cultures and creeds, violence against animals, cruelty to animals is not acceptable. Right? This is not an American thing. This is not a Chinese thing. This is not a Sikh thing. This is not an Arab or Muslim thing. This is a universal right that all living creatures have. Not to be thrown into garbage cans, not to be cannibalized, not to be drowning in your own blood.
And to be specific, you're talking about animals.
And I'm talking about animals who are in this facility right behind us. And these workers themselves, they admit it's wrong. They said, yes, we don't like it either. And they're blaming their supplier. They're saying, go after our supplier because we get the animals in this condition. And if that's true, for sure, let's go after the supplier and let's get their help to do it. And I've convinced these guys to have a dinner with me and talk about the conditions these animals are being raised in and try and create a better system where animals are no longer treated as commodities getting thrown away into garbage cans when they're still alive.
What's your
That
name?
is not right. My name's Wayne.
What's your last name?
Shung.
Spell that.
H as in Henry, S as in Sam, I-U, N as in Nancy, G as in Gary. What's your name?
What city do you live in?
I live in Berkeley. What's your name?
Sergio.
Sergio. Nice to meet you. Joe.
He's the co-founder of Direct Action Everywhere.
Hi. Nice to meet you. All right. Great.
Thank you very much for your reporting on this issue.
All right.
And you know Jane?
Jane and I are members of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists.
Awesome. Jane's incredible.
Joe.
Wait, who's Jane?
Jane Velez.
Where's Jane?
Yeah. Hey, how you
Jane,
doing?
I knew that was
honestly,
you. Long time no see.
you know, we have to speak up because the animals have no voice.
Right.
They can't say, "Hey, I'm stuck in a garbage can. That's not right. What did I do? I committed no crime." So we have to speak for them. That's the bottom line.
And honestly, I had a lot of experience as a kid in Taiwan and Hong Kong and Asia where I saw conditions like this going completely unacknowledged in China as well. And it really influenced me. And I think, and the thing is, there are a ton of people in China, I'm from a Buddhist background myself, who are rising up in all these countries. So it's not just an American thing, it's a Chinese thing, it's a Muslim thing.
Here's the thing that I will say personally.
Sure. Yeah.
My brother's Muslim.
Yeah.
He has a shitty time right now.
Yeah.
Because lots of people
Yeah, that's
they don't
terrible.
have exactly.
That's wrong. That's
so
evil.
this is a group of people who have come to a Muslim business and put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's the main concern that this guy has. Is
Yeah.
that now there are people on Facebook who are like, yeah, let's go get that business.
Yeah. No one's going to do that in our group. Nonviolence and love-based activism.
I would imagine
Yeah,
that this
we're-
group, who is very well disciplined, raising
Yeah.
their hands when asked if they've been arrested, is likely not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
Facebook
we're living
is-
in a world today where Muslims are being targeted, and that's wrong. But the thing is, I mean, as an immigrant, I've had my face sliced open by white supremacists. I was hospitalized and had to get my face stitched back together by white supremacists who attacked me with a knife. As someone who's faced discrimination and violence myself, I know that it's all connected. And the violence that's happening inside this slaughterhouse is furthering the violence against them too.
And can you? But the thing is, and he spoke a little bit to it.
Yeah.
He spoke to, worries about being targeted.
Yeah,
This-
and we're- of
it
course
doesn't
that's not
feel
gonna
like
happen.
America
Yeah.
when people can come into your business and take things.
Yeah, I know that feeling too because I had my house TP'd.
But
I
did
had
you-
people call me a chink over and over again. Had people beat the shit out of me because I was a Chinese kid in
So
Central
I-
Indiana.
so I
But
would
one of
a-
the things I
so I would
realized.
ask- so
yeah,
I would
yeah,
ask,
please.
Why would you then go into someone's business and take something?
Because
from
it's
them?
all connected. Because the violence that's happening to these animals is connected to the violence against the Muslim folks all over the country who are seen as different, inferior, as exotic, and therefore not equal.
Did you guys just add to that argument?
No, I don't think we did because we've targeted big businesses like Smithfield. We've targeted McDonald's. We've targeted Costco. And we're here today to start a conversation to help animals. Not to target the business, but to help the animals. And that's it.
And you recognize the reason why we're here is because it's a Muslim business in part.
Well, I
And
hope that's
because
not
it
why
was-
we're here.
And because it was also an Asian business
Sure.
about a year ago in San Francisco.
But it's also an American business like Smithfield, or a European business like I don't even remember what that chain is, Tesco. That activists all over the world, or German.
And
the
Sergio,
food
I know
business.
you interviewed Miriam, but
Yeah.
we're definitely over here.
From the Muslim faith, from.
Hello. How are you?
There we go. Getting a conversation.
Yes.
That's the business costs a lot of money, and we have all business license. In Velez-Mitchell, the health department just came last.
Do you mind if we talk to you? Can we talk to you?
By the way, I don't want to say any word because I'm not the owners. I'm just next door wholesale.
Okay.
And I heard what happened here and just came because I know every week inspection comes from the health department here.
Yeah.
They
But that's not
always-
animal cruelty.
Yeah, but
No, I
they have a
understand.
business
Yeah.
license, they have employees, they have to pay, and this is. I like what you guys said, but this is bigger problem than dealing with this guy. They are like owners, small business owners. They have to pay bills. They have employees like today, like a lot of employees. They have to pay them. They have to pay rent. They have.
So
if you guys have a problem, maybe go to
No,
the health
please.
department, and we agree with you. When the city says stop, or the county, everybody in this country obey the law. We are illegal. We're not hiding. We're not doing anything against the law. You know, I don't know.
So let's talk about it.
And we respect everybody here. We're not against you guys or we say anything, but still, we have to respect the business license here.
Can I make a suggestion?
Do you mind telling us your name really quick so we can?
Sam.
Sam?
Yes.
What's your last name, Sam?
Kasim.
Kasim. Spell that.
Kassam.
And you said that you actually are a business next door.
Next door, yeah.
Yeah. And
I
you
sell T-shirts.
Yeah,
we're fine.
And do you know them? Do you know the business?
I know them very well, and I always come here, and they always inspection from the health department.
Yeah.
They never have a violence or anything. They always.
Well, violence occurs because all the animals die inside.
Yeah, but
and let me ask a question, because there was a suggestion made that somehow coming here was anti-Muslim. I'd like you to speak to that, because you were here for DXE, for Direct Action Everywhere.
Yes, I'm an Iranian American, and injustice anywhere is not okay. It doesn't matter what our background is. Doesn't matter which country or what culture or what tradition we practice. When we see injustice, when we see cruelty, it is our duty to step in and stop it. So hiding behind culture, religion, background as a way of justifying what we're doing is wrong. And going back to the laws are changing in the U.S. as we speak with the person we have in the White House.
Yet?
They've posed a travel ban as where my family directly was related to was affected by the travel ban laws, and so we know that that's a law and that's wrong.
Honest, we don't want to take it like it's like against minority people, because all these people look like nice people, not racist or something. But honest, this is a small business guy.
Yeah.
Another thing like this, you're gonna close and you have to do another something. Why not you guys go to the big guys?
Yeah, we do.
Do it. Because this guy is the only thing he's gonna go homeless.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do anything with this guy. Go to the big guys. And we don't care what we are in America. We respect American law, and just we have a business license. We have a business license. We have everything. I didn't see any reason for you guys to argue.
The one thing I'd suggest is, like, I really think these guys are talking to us in good faith. And
yeah, honest.
I've already talked to Sam and Tim and the other folks about having a meal together and just sharing. I'd like to share about my cultural background too, because I grew up with slaughterhouses like this in my neighborhood. You know, like, and I understand where you're coming from. And Amin grew up in a similar community. You know, from the Muslim faith. So, you know, it's not against you at all. We want to have a conversation. That's all. And I'm looking forward to having that conversation, because I think there's a lot of common ground for all of us to build on today.
That's why we're saying.
Yeah, just jump in.
First of all, I want to say Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I was raised Muslim. For 18 years of my life, I thought eating halal meat was okay. But then I realized that eating animals is unnecessary. Right now,
let me ask you
right now.
And ask
Allah says.
He's not here now. And another thing.
What Allah says? Eating animals.
We're not talking about
we should only do it
we're
if
talking
it's
about
necessary.
business license.
What is in the
about
Quran
government. We are in America.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I create for you.
Yes, and
chicken.
No, he said
we are in America. We respect everybody.
That's not what he said.
I don't speak Arabic, but I know the Quran.
I create these animals to feed you.
Allah convenient to interpret religious
evidence, and I actually
Allah said you grow food.
Let's talk about it. Let's not. We don't have to argue with each other. Let's talk about it.
Now you came us here.
Let me ask you a question. Jobs have always been used to justify social inequity. It's actually an argument used to justify the continuation of slavery, that it would destroy the economy of the South if you ended slavery. Do you know that keeping women out of the workforce, it was argued that it would hurt the economy, it would hurt jobs, it would hurt the paychecks of men to bring women into the workforce. So jobs have always been used to justify social injustice.
I don't want any of my work. I'm not the business owner here, okay? I don't want any word.
I'm just saying there's an argument against, there's another dialect to that.
Yeah, we'll depart. So let's have a conversation.
And
after.
one more thing,
Yeah.
guys, we are here to have a business life. We're not doing it hiding. This guy always health inspection come, everything illegal, everything papers, everything, you know. And this guy he have rent to pay.
Yeah.
Good. You guys you have to live. And plus, with this police officer, we have a lot of problems.
Yeah, for sure.
People dying. People.
We agree.
If you give them here like 5 cars now, for what? Go do your homework if you think you believe in something. buy papers. We are in America.
But sir, you're saying that it's not a story essentially. What we're saying is animal agriculture is a leading cause of climate change. It's a leading cause of heart disease. It's a leading cause of cancer. And I know you're just flapping your fingers, but it's true. Heart disease kills 1 out of every 4 people.
If you stop eating trees, you will stop eating meat.
Well, then why don't? Well, then
But animal agriculture is responsible for deforestation.
Trees also has a soul.
But animal agriculture is deforestation.
It's all the same. Let's eat human babies.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. Can I say thank you to you?
Thank you, sir, guys. I love you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a fun debate.
You want me to 650?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Maybe you can just take a photo of this. Okay. Too.